Don't build your home before the age 35. Hear me out. I did not say that you should never ever own a home. No. I said don't do it before the age of 35. You know why? There are some of the things that you have never taught. And on this video, I'm gonna tell you the things that are gonna disrupt everything that you knew before. The only way you can get something that you have never gotten is to do something that you have never done. And the easiest way to succeed in the society, just look what they are doing, then do opposite. Why? Because if you do what they are doing, you'll end up with what they are having. This is good, Joseph. And I love to make this kind of videos so that I can teach you something that probably you didn't know. And if you're watching me for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Make sure that you like this video and also leave a comment on the comment section. What is your view? Let us discuss. Let us help each other. Come on here. Now, before the age of 35, there's something that you're supposed to know. How many here are in a haste? You see, there is a certain haste with people of owning a home. By the way, it's funny when you pull somebody at age 37 and you pull somebody at the age of 23. This guy at the age of 23, they feel like they are too old and things are running. But there's a time will come in your life when the patience kicks in and you feel like when people invite you to in the deals that make money too quick, you feel you're not even attracted and something like that. This is my point. In the age between 20 all the way to 34, it is called you are building the income power. And this is where you find there is a lot of peer pressure. You find that, I don't know why in the societal makeup, most of the people are competing in terms of owning a home. So you find there is that haste. You find somebody is not even in a position to build a home. So they are being even necessitated to rush in to acquire a loan to build their own home. Can you imagine you're borrowing? By the way, there is nothing wrong with owning a home. The problem here is the way you are owning a home. You are borrowing to build your own home that is not generating income, yet the loan ought to be serviced. And then you finish up paying that loan after 7 years, for example. The fact remains you have owned that home after the 7th year. So people, they want to cheat their psychology that they have owned a home, yet they're going to own that home after the 7th year. Now, what you're supposed to be doing is that between the age of 20, I don't want to say 18, Kenya, you are regarded as an adult when you hit 18 years old. But generally, who is making money at 18? Anyway, I'm not saying they're not people, but literally, let's say 20 to 34, 20 to 34, this is where you're building your income power. This is where you're putting brick by brick together so that you can create a system that is working for you, that is generating income. Now, what happens at this particular age, probably at the age of 30, 31, 32, your income is around between 60,000 all the way to 150K. And at that particular time, most of the people tend to admire a home which is a 3-bedroom, which is not an ensuite. 3-bedroom in Kenya will cost you an average of 3.5 million, 3 million, depending with your location. Now, the point is, you earning a salary of 60,000 to 150K, and you want to build a home which is around, 3.5 million. It means that you have to take a little bit of time for you to accumulate that money because you still have the sustainables, paying the fixed income, or rather the fixed expenses and what have you. Therefore, you realize by the time now you're hitting that 3.5 million or owning a home, you've already tied down a capital of 3.5 million just in the name of. Can you imagine this? You're tying down a capital of 3.5 million to run away from a rent of say 15,000 or 20,000. I know rent comes with a lot of people hate rent. Are we together? Now, what happens here is that the moment you own that home, guess what now you embark on? You embark on investing. And there is one thing that you're supposed to understand in life. Between the age of 20 to 34, that is your most prime. I was about to say the primiest. That is your most prime age bracket in your life. That is where the dreams, the things are created. And please don't give me an example of Colonel Sanders who came up with the KFC at their 60s. I know some people will actually counter that with that. Okay. The point is, at this particular age is when you're supposed to do what? To come up with the system and the structures that can generate income, even possible in your absentia. Now, number 2, you're supposed to understand that life priority changes. Past 35 years, what you used to think like, I don't know whether I should say this, let me not say it. But for those who are above 35, they can tell things and priority changes. You find by the time now you've built your 3-bedroom house, God is great actually, not God can be great. God is great and can actually bless you. And then you get some cash and then you realize, oh my goodness, the 3-bedroom that I built, the bungalow, is not even what I was actually aiming for. You're thinking about, demolishing the house, probably changing the location. And when I say priority changes, it can change in variety of areas. Either you want to change the plan of the house that you had built initially, you want to change the location now. And this is what I always tell people, please, whenever you are doing what we call building a home too early, you are fixing yourself to a one geographical location. Let's take an example. If you're a Kenyan, you build yourself a home, say, in a place called Ruiru, for example. If you've never been to Mombasa to see what opportunities can be there for you, if you've never been to a place like Kisumu, you've never been to Eldoret, you've never been to different cities. Now, if you're watching me from a different country, now I use those examples to contextualize what I'm exactly saying. See, what happens when you rush into fixing yourself to one geographical location, you actually miss out some of the opportunities that are out there. And by the way, you realize, based on the experience, because now past 35 years old, if you are employed, you become more experienced. So you are likely to be given, I said you are likely, it's not mandatory, but you're likely to be given positions. Probably you might actually migrate from one location to the other. Now, you and your family, I have examples of people who are principals in a high school, the husband and the wife, they are principals. The one partner is on a different county, the other one is on a different county, and they are all principals. Yet they had built a home worth 5.5 million. Now, we were having conversation. Now, what should we do, Joseph? We have a home that is 5.5 million. And the funny thing, this house is a little bit interior. It is in the up country. We are not getting people who are ready to pay around 50,000 in a month for them to live in our home so that it can generate income. You know why? I'm a principal somewhere else, my husband is a principal somewhere else, and then our kids are in the universities, some are in high school, and of course they are boarding. So we don't know what we can actually do. We feel like we actually did not do the right thing, building a house worth 5.5 million that we are not even living. Probably that money, say, you could have invested somewhere, it could be generating us some cash, then later we can come up with a home. Anyway, the point here is, please, whenever you rush into building a home before the age of 35, you're fixing yourself to one geographical location. And when you do that, by the way, let me tell you one secret that you didn't know about money. Money is quite funny because you might have the 5 million or let's use an example of 3 million. You might have the 3 million in a city like Nairobi. Probably that money, what could do to you in Nairobi is so different that money could have done to you if you were to go to Kitale. Probably if you were to catch a bus and go to Kitale with 3 million, probably you can even be able to lease yourself a very big, like you are able. That's why you find Black Americans are actually, and there is a video I'm making, coming. That's why you find Black Americans or African Americans are actually coming to Kenya, or even other people are coming to or migrating to different places. You realize that with 200,000 in a country like America, you can't even buy a house. But if you come with that money here, my friend, you have yourself a ranch, you get what I'm trying to say. So please don't rush into fixing yourself into one geographical location. Now, another thing, building a home is actually an emotionally driven action. It is not an investment, it's not a financial driven decision. So you are achieving emotional security, not a financial security. Am I saying that we should not feed our emotional security? No. The reason why we look for financial security is to make sure that we feed our emotional security. But feeding our emotional security first, it does not help you in any way, or if it does, then at a very little magnitude to actually achieve what we call the financial freedom, or rather the financial security. Now, what exactly should you do as the alternatives now that I've discouraged you from building a house before the age of 35? I'm going to give you a very big disclaimer here. The only situation where I'm discouraging you to build a home before the age of 35 is when you have not built yourself a sustainable, financial, position where you are earning money, where money is working for, like you do not have a problem with cash flow, like you have a problem with cash flow. If you're in that particular situation, you're still trying to, put a little here so that you can, at that particular time, rushing into acquisition of an emotional security such as a house is not really a best idea. But then if you're in a position, people are different in terms of financial muscles, but if you're in a position whereby you are okay, your cash flow is good, if you're employed or maybe you have invested, like honestly speaking, your cash is good. I mean, the cash flow is coming in and you don't have a problem. And when you think about building a home, you can just instantly doing it. You've not affected your financial muscle, or you've not affected your purchasing power. Then you can just simply, you can even build your home at 20. If you have the cash, probably you come from a wealthy family, you have the money. This video is close to useless to you. But if you're not in a position whereby you have not put your house in order, quote unquote, when I say put your house in order, I mean in terms of the finances, you're still struggling, please, you shouldn't be thinking about owning a home. You should be thinking about making sure that you put your house in order as far as the cash flow is concerned. Are we together? So that is my disclaimer. Now let's go to the alternatives. Now, what do you do in this particular point? Alternative to this, I would highly recommend you investing in high yield investments or high yield assets that are generating you cash flow. For example, you might have the 3.5 million, you want to build yourself a bungalow, and then you're like, well, this is not really my dream house for sure. My dream house probably will cost, let's say, 10 million, or let's say double of this, which is 7 million in our case example. So what you can do, you can take this money, you invest it somewhere. Once you invest that money, the returns from that money can compound, and on top of that, you keep on topping up. Do exactly what you did to get 3.5 million. Of course, you can push that number all the way to 7 million. Now, that means you've actually retained the purchasing power. There's something I will tell you here. Always stay open with your money, or stay open with your cash, especially when in the age of 20 to 25. Why? There is a lot of beautiful things at this particular age bracket. First of all, you have a high risk of appetite. Number two, there is a luxury of time where somebody at their 50s and above do not have. So at this particular point, stay open with your cash. Always have, see, I always tell people that businesses survive on vitamin M. That is money. So the same case as you as a humanity or as a human, you're supposed to always have cash. There's nothing beautiful in this world than having cash somewhere, an opportunity. You can actually get somebody who is selling his land and it's a distress. That land probably is worth, say, 3 million. That guy is selling it, say, at 1.8. Or something like, I know it's a crazy figure I'm giving, but I'm just telling you, such happens. You can grab that opportunity, then you can announce about that land and resell it. You're buying it to resell. You can get somebody who is selling a car, it's a distress. They're selling a car, probably they are not able to pay the loan, and God forbid, and I really hope I don't have those people on my channel, So, and then you can grab that opportunity. If you have the cash, you can buy that particular car, you can show up to a yard and you can sell it, make some few coins on top of your money, and then move forward. But you can't tap these opportunities if you do not have the cash. You take all the money, you build yourself a home, and then you're sitting there. Then all of a sudden, your neighbor announces that, hey, you know what, I'm selling this land, I'm selling this home, and it's a distress. And you can see you can clearly make $1 million out of that particular deal. But you don't have the cash. You don't have the money. You don't even know what you can do. Please, cash is king. That's what you usually hear from the wealthy people. Cash is king. Always have it by yourself at all the time. Especially when at this particular age, always have cash. Always retain the purchasing power. It gives you the power because you can tap an opportunity, make some cash, then retract back. Tap the opportunity, make some cash, then retract back. Why? Between the age of 21 to 45, I always tell you guys, focus on growing your money. Please, focus on growing your money, not safeguarding it. Focus on, okay, I'm not saying that you should risk all your money anyhowly, but from 21 all the way to 45, focus on growing your money. Beyond 46 and above, focus on safeguarding it. This is now where you speak the language of, safeguarding, investing, you relax. You don't have the time, you don't have the ability, you cannot afford these, how can I say, you don't afford these riskier things and something like that. You just want to go with the stable things, the reliable things, and such kind of things, okay? Now, what happens is that if you must build, then go the rentals way. Why? That capital, yes, has been tied, but at least it's generating income. That particular property is generating you income, and of course, it's appreciating in terms of the price. And of course, that way, though it is not growing at faster rate as you may wish, but at least it's doing something. And probably say if you build your rental somewhere, you can actually decide to live in one unit, then you can rent the rest. So those guys are paying you to live there rather than you building a home and paying to live there. You get the difference? Because when you build yourself a home, you actually pay to live there. But when you build some rentals and live in one unit, it may not be the best because probably you would like to, having fun in your home. I totally understand what you're saying. I also admire that and I love that. But the timing is where most people do the mistake. See, now, when you build some rentals and live in one unit, now they are paying you to live there. but the other way around, you're paying to live there. Okay. Now, lastly but not the least, of course, I do receive a lot of calls from guys. You know, let me tell you one thing. It's very hard to advise somebody between this age in terms of not building their home. Now, I receive calls from people who are above 50s. And they are calling me and telling me, Joseph, you know what? Yes, we built a home, we have a home, and it's okay, everything is good. You know, most people tend to think like when you build a home, all the problems are gone. You know, people tend to think like, well, the moment I'll become a homeowner, boom, all of a sudden everything will fall into place. No, let me tell you one secret. They call me, a lot of them, and probably right now as you're watching this video, some of you are taking this. By the way, this is my number in case you didn't know how you can reach me out. They tell me, Joseph, we built a home, but right now we are struggling. We don't know. Okay, we did give birth to kids and they have educated, they are, they are working and what have you. But honestly speaking, the way we are seeing this going, we didn't take our, what we call, our financial freedom somehow seriously. We did educate our kids and we build ourselves our homes, and we need to sustain ourselves. There is life beyond owning a home. You know, you need to eat, you also need to service that home, you need to repair that home. Probably when you become old, you need a lot of help. You need some people in your house helping you to cook, and of course they can't do that for free. You need to have those nannies and what have you taking care of you, But these guys, they are struggling. They're asking me now, what do we do? The only cash that we have is for the pension that I'm about to receive. Now, what do I do? How do I take care of my financial matters? How do I take care of what we call the cash flow? And so, because I can see myself relying on kids, of which I wouldn't love to do that. Now, that is the reality that most people don't know that it exists out there until you reach there. Anyway, guys, lastly but not the least, of course, is that you start a scalable business if that is possible. Because I said here, you have what we call the luxury of time. You can try different things. You can press here, you can press there, you can press there. So try different things so that you can ultimately be able to do what? To see whether maybe probably you can touch something and voila, it works and you become wealthy. What is my last message on this video? I did not say that you shouldn't own a home. If you're doing okay financially, if you have money, money is not really a problem to you, you have good cash flow, and you've taken other care as far as the finances are concerned, you can even build at even 20 years old. You can even build as early as you can. But as much as you're still struggling with finances, you're working from 9 to 5, your job is very tough. By the way, let me tell you one secret. If your boss is tough, your job is so demanding, don't rush into owning a home because you're going to have yourself a problem. I think I should make a video about that. If your boss is tough, if you're struggling, if you hate your job, please don't build yourself a home. Anyway, this is Good Joseph, and I love to make this kind of videos, not because that I know everything, but I do believe just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other. And if you need my services in one way or the other, that happens to be my number. Pick it up there, shoot me a call, let's talk business. For now, it's goodbye.